Hey, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do another tutorial on a really neat pencil blue jean bag. You could also use it for your makeup. This is leftover fabric that I had when I was making that blue jean bag that I made. So it's two pieces of blue jean from the back of a pair of blue jeans. The measurement is 7.5 by 8.5. Also, I cut a piece of lining that is 7.5 wide, and it's 16 inches long. And it's just one long sheet, or you can make two, but I'm using one to save myself sewing a seam. I also recommend that you get a zipper at least 1 inch wider than your um, top fabric. I'm using a zipper that is 9 inches long, so it's 2 inches longer than my top fabric. So here I have my blue jean facing upward, and I face my zipper facing down and my lining facing down. And I'm going to get those Wonder Clips and I'm going to line everything together and make sure that I've clipped those three pieces together. And then I'm going to go to the sewing machine. My foot on my sewing machine is a little bit thinner, but I do recommend that you get your zipper foot out that goes to your sewing machine. And so here you see me just clipping those three pieces together, and now we're at the sewing machine. And just move your Wonder Clips away and just start sewing down. The neat thing about having a larger zipper is the zipper pull is away from the fabric, so it's not going to be a factor when you're sewing. But if your zipper is smaller, just sew towards the zipper line and then move your zipper pull away and then keep sewing again. And for some reason, when I was filming, I didn't get the area, but you could still see it. So what I did is I pulled both fabrics away from the zipper, and I'm making sure that I'm ironing that fabric all the way down. And then I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to do a top stitch. I'm also sewing that lining down and tacking it down, making sure that lining doesn't get caught when it's inside the bag, so it doesn't get caught with the zipper. And so here I have my lining again, and I'm going to bring my zipper to the edge of that lining, and I'm also going to add my other piece of my top fabric, which is my blue jean. And so here you see me making sure that everything's nice and lined up on the sides and that everything is nice and lined up on the very top edge of the zipper. And then we're going to the sewing machine again. I don't know why I can't talk today. And so I'm just showing you how I have those three pieces together. And now we're on the sewing machine and we're going to do the same thing we did the first time. Just make sure all three pieces are nice and lined and straight, and sew a nice clean seam. And then in a minute, after you're done sewing, what we did before where you sewed the top fabric and the lining, we're going to start ironing that. And so here you see me pulling that fabric away from the zipper, and I'm just going to get my hot iron and make sure it's nice and pressed away. And here, because I didn't have two pieces for my lining, it's one, I'm going to have to open that zipper and start ironing that inside lining. So it's kind of already together because I don't have two pieces on my lining. And just make sure that your lining is ironed away from your zipper. The reason you want to do this is you want to make sure that your lining doesn't get caught with the zipper, and this is what prevents it. Sewing that seam on top again like we did the first time. And it also makes a really nice professional look on the top of your bag. The neat thing about having a bigger zipper is the zipper pull is not in your way when you're doing this. And now we're going to go ahead and sew that bottom seam of your top fabric or my blue jean fabric. You could do this with any fabric, any size fabric, any style of fabric, and honestly, you could do any measurement. So now it's time to get the seams where the zipper area and make sure they're nice and connected and straight. I always end up having knots or the zipper looks weird in these little corners. So I found this really helps. Make sure your zipper is facing down towards your lining, like you see me holding there, and pin right there. And in a minute, I'm also going to make sure that my fabric of the blue jean also line up nice and straight. And so in a second, here you see me just pinning that zipper and making sure it's nice and straight. And here I'm showing you do you see where that blue jean fabric connects to the zipper? You want to make sure that the top of that fabric and the bottom of that fabric lay right on top of each other, and make sure they're right in line. And here you see me making sure that everything is together. What I found is when you do this and then when you sew it, it doesn't shift on you. And then when you reverse the bag, you have those perfect connected seams. And this makes your bag look like it's done by a professional, because when I used to do it before, it didn't look really well on those corner edges of the zipper. And so here you see me on the sewing machine sewing those edges. Some things to think about. Make sure your zipper pull is inside the bag, and also that your zipper pull is open so that you could reverse your bag. On this side, we're going to go all the way straight, and you see me kind of being real easy and patient when I'm going over that zipper pull area, or those three areas that are connected: the blue jean, the zipper, and the lining. You see me kind of go slow, and here you see me closing that bag. I'm going forwards and backwards, and now we're doing the opposite end. And so here you see me sewing the seam again, and I'm making sure that the top of my blue jean and the bottom of my blue jean are on top of each other, and that my zipper is facing towards the lining, and that it's my zipper straight. And so here you see me just maneuvering the sewing machine over those three layers. And then I'm also going to start sewing where the lining is at. And as you see me sewing, you see me pulling those pins away, and then here you see me just sewing a nice straight seam. I'm going to give myself an opening so I could right side out my bag, and here you see me just sewing, and I'm going to lock those stitches in, and I'm going to go down a little bit more and lock the stitches in on the very bottom of the bag, like you see there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut off all that extra excess zipper. I had 2 inches, so I'm cutting off all that extra zipper, and then I'm going to right side out the bag. So here I have my opening, and this is where having your zipper pull open, or your zipper open, and having your zipper pull inside the bag is a good thing to have, because one time I didn't do that and I cut off the zipper pull and I had to redo the whole bag all over again. And so here you see me just pushing everything, the corners out, and I'm also going to push in the lining and make sure it sits nice and flat. Once you get everything together, make sure that you, in that zipper area, that you push all the seams out. And here you see me just fiddling with the bag. And here I'm going to show you, where we were pinning all those areas where the zipper is. It really does help in getting everything in line. And here I'm going to show you the other side, where the seams come together, where the zipper lays nice and flat and clean. It doesn't have that weird bubble. And so in a minute, I'm going to get the iron, and we're going to go ahead and just iron everything. Remember, we made a seam on the very bottom, and so I'm just making sure that everything's ironed nice and flat, and I went ahead and pulled out that lining. And I'm also going to start ironing the lining. Where we had the opening, I'm going to tuck that fabric in, and I'm going to iron it down so it tucks in, so that when I go in the sewing machine, like you see me now, everything's already in line and ready to be sewn. And now I'm going to tuck everything in again and make sure that everything is nice and flat. And this is a really neat bag. It has 3 pockets, because the back of the blue jeans, I'm adding 2 pockets right there. And also you have a zipper pocket. And so I noticed this bag was a little deep, and so you really can add a lot of pencils and markers. And here you saw me putting Sharpies in there. And you have 2 pockets, one on the front and one in the back. And you can put Post-it notes, your scissors, money, anything that you want to put in that bag. But now you have 3 pockets in making one bag. And so this is the visual of what the bag looks like. I added an embellishment. I made these flowers, and I glued some feathers on there to kind of make it a little bit more feminine, because it was a little bit more masculine of a bag. And so this would be great to make for a young boy. And here you see all those pens that I'm addicted to in my bag. And so I really do hope you like this tutorial, and I really appreciate you watching, and I thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.